Hello and welcome to another episode of the Woolly Mastadon Creates podcast, episode 48. My name is Tori or Victoria, the mastermind behind the crazy, and thank you for joining me today. Before we jump into the episode, you can find me in a few places on the interwebs. You can find me on Ravelry as lilwestie, L-I-L-Westie. You can find me on Instagram as Tori Schaffner. I'm definitely most active there. You can find me on the blog, of course. Trying to remember where you can find me. That's woolymastodon.wordpress.com, and then that is where all my show notes are posted. I am on Facebook, I'm just not as active there, and of course you can find me here on YouTube. Before we jump into the episode today, I want to apologize if you can hear a little white noise. It is because I currently have a fan running. And we'll discuss this later, but the long and short of it is our AC isn't working, and if I don't have a fan on, I'm going to melt in a puddle, and I really don't want to recreate the scene from The Wizard of Oz and start melting into a puddle. Not that I'm the Wicked Witch of the West, but there is that. So with that, I'm just trying to make sure I have everything here. Today is June 6th. It is a lovely Sunday. We're leaning towards Sunday afternoon at this point. It's a hot one. It's been in the 90s for the past however many days, and it's going to continue for a few more days. So it's been a hot week. But with that said, let's just jump into the knitting. I'm not wearing anything that I have to show you today, which gives you a hint at what I'm about to show you, because it's too warm. But I will insert photos where available. So with that being said, I have finished objects. Plural. 2 of them you have never seen before because I finished them in the past week, but one of them you have seen many a time. Many a time. I finally finished the Shisui Shrug by Suzanne Sommer. It is a large, amazing, oversized brioche shawl with sleeves, and it fits amazing. This is knit out of Knit Pick Static in the Taos and Beanstalk colorway, and then the edging is knit out of Knit Picks, what was it? Hawthorne, and this is the Poseidon colorway. I believe I knit the 2X size, either the 1X or 2X size, whatever fit the measurements best, because they suggest you size down one if you're kind of in between. The sleeves, the only edit I made is I bound off in Poseidon as opposed to just binding off in the main color. And what's cool about this is most definitely reversible. So this is technically what you'd see if I wore it, but I could wear this side out too. It's reversible. It doesn't matter. So it's really cool. It's really comfy. I did take finished object photos of this, so I will insert some here. But this is going to be absolutely amazing, especially at work. I mean, maybe I should bring it even sometimes now, because I've been freezing in the AC at work, so it wouldn't hurt to have something like this around to just wear like a cape. But this is amazing. It's huge. I think even in my finished object photos you can't actually see how large it is. I knit this on a US 3.25 millimeter needle, and this is mostly brioche knitting, and I love it. It is huge, and it is done. It took me a while, but in reality when I was checking it, it took me 3 months maybe to finish, which isn't that bad. It's really not that bad for me. So yeah, I cranked this out pretty quickly, even though you guys have been seeing this forever. For me, I cranked this out quickly, considering how large of a project this is. Because with brioche knitting, you essentially knit every row twice. So, with that in mind, this took a long time to make, but it is amazing. I love it. When I was blocking it, Little Miss Midnight loved it too, but she loved it so much she snagged it because I didn't catch her rolling on the blocking boards. So yeah, I had to mend this a little bit, reweave in some snags, but other than that, it is beautiful and I love it. Yeah, first work in progress. Work in progress. Finished object. This is done. This has been blocked, the ends have been woven in, everything is done. I actually have 2 more finished objects, neither of which you have seen. One of them is bigger than the other. So last episode I had mentioned I wanted to knit the Breeze Racerback by Jessie Made Designs, which is a tank top. And I know, knitted tank top out of wool, why? I just wanted to try it. I wanted to see if I liked it, and I'll just wear it around the house because it's actually very comfortable. So needless to say, I start and finished it. I just took it off the blocking boards this morning, so I have to trim all the tails because I always weave in my ends before I block a sweater, and then I trim them after they've been blocked so that I don't have a bunch of little ends sticking out. But this is the Breeze Racerback Tank by Jessie Made Designs. I don't have finished objects photos for this. Maybe I will by next weekend, or by next podcast, not next weekend. But this is the front, really hard to see, and then the back is, as it suggests, a racerback top. So I knit this out of Malabrigo Machita in color Storm. 2 skeins. Didn't even use both skeins like I thought I would. Do I even have how much yarn I had left? I had a lot of yarn left, considering I'm a plus size girl. I had this much yarn left. I don't think I was supposed to have this much yarn left, and I even knit the body of the sweater longer than they suggested because I didn't want it cropped. So this is not a crop sweater on me. It's a regular length shirt. But yeah, I have a lot of yarn left, so that'll probably just go into my granny stripe blanket. But this is a 1-ply yarn. Super pretty. It looks really cool. I really like it. It blocked out beautifully. It's super drapey, super comfy. It looks like a whole lot of nothing right now. It's hard to see it because, you know, it's a racerback top, so it doesn't hang normally, but you can kind of see. Yeah, and it fits perfectly. I really like it. I knit this in 1 week. I cast it on last Saturday, and I finished it yesterday and blocked it and laid it out to dry. So this was a very, very quick knit. And actually I did a lot of knitting on this out on the patio before it got into the 90s. So it's a really basic design. I really love it. This is great. I love it. This was knit on US 3.25 millimeter needles, which seems to be my sweet spot for fingering weight sweaters, unless I wanted it at a tighter gauge. Like this may even be knitted a slightly tighter gauge than the original now that I look at it, but I wanted it to be, you know, as solid as possible, so I really like it. The last thing I made didn't follow a pattern. And this is kind of like, maybe even a more old school thing, but we have been trying to, like, we save plastic, like Walmart bags and stuff, to line trash bins and whatever, and I like make sure we don't have a ton in the house, but they get thrown in a closet and they just get everywhere. So I made one of those like holders to store plastic bags from a store, and I just winged it. No pattern here. I used crochet cotton. I don't know if I have the label for this anymore. I do. I used Peaches and Cream in color Poppy. Looks like I couldn't even find it. Is this Poppy? I guess this is color Poppy. I used 2 skeins, almost all of 2 skeins. The base is just a solid, I just crocheted like a solid circle, and then I did I started with a half double crochet chain 1, and then I just switched over to a full double crochet chain 1 pattern, because I wanted it to go faster, to be honest, and I didn't need it like super tight because it's going to be plastic bags. And then I just did a little handle. It's a little big, so if I wanted it to go around like a doorknob, I could, or whatever. It doesn't matter. But yeah, no, there's no opening on the bottom, but I didn't really see why I would need that. I apologize if the light's changing because the sun is doing what it wants. But yeah, I didn't think I would need that. So yeah. This is what we're looking at. It kind of did a cool stripe pattern the way the yarn crocheted, because I crocheted it in the round, and it looks like a nice cool stripe pattern. So yeah, this is my last one. I started this last night and finished it last night, so it was very, very quick. Part of the reason why I did this too is I actually want to make like a car trash can just for like straw wrappers or napkins or like loose things like that, not anything perishable. Just because then, you know, you can throw it in there and then you can get rid of it. And most of those look neater sewn, but I just haven't wanted to sew anything recently. Haven't wanted to sew anything recently. I don't have words right now. So I was debating crocheting one and then just lining it with like a plastic Walmart bag. And I realized I wanted one of these for bags anyway, so I just made this. And the more I think about it, the more I should just get out my sewing machine and sew us little car trash bags that you line with a bag, because they just look classier. So I don't think I'll crochet that, but this worked out really well, and now we have something to store our plastic bags in, and if they grow out of this, we don't need them, we can just get rid of them. This was stash yarn, so like nothing was purchased to make these, so super handy. I think I used a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. I don't remember, it was either a 4 or 4.5, so yeah. Other than that, works in progress. I've been working on the same things. I've been working on the socks for Dad. I've been working on my granny stripe blanket, although the later we got into this week, that came to a screeching halt because it got too warm. But I was working on that, but really nothing to show right now because I put all of my time into these 3 projects. So yeah, it was a finished object parade today. With that, let me think. Stash enhancements, I got nothing. Non-knit loves. I don't really have anything to show this time because I was so knee deep in making sure I finished knitting this stuff that I wasn't really doing much else. So with that, we'll just move into life lately. It'll be a short episode because upcoming cast-ons, I truthfully have no idea. I did this last night and I don't know what to put up cast on next. I'm looking around and like I should crochet some plants for my desk at work. Maybe I'll do that next, but I have no idea when I'm going to start next. So with that, we'll just move into life lately. Life lately, our AC went out. Yay! So our AC went out Thursday. Unfortunately, it's the second time this year the AC stopped working. So it stopped working on Thursday, I believe, or was it Wednesday already? It was Wednesday already it stopped working. But it wasn't as bad because it was still only in the 80s, but I checked the weather and it was supposed to be in the 90s Friday through Monday, and I'm sure that has been extended because it's just starting to get hot here. And I wasn't super worried about myself. I was more worried about midnight. Like I had all these plans that I was going to have her, like wrangle her and put her in the car, and we were just going to go for a drive this weekend, yesterday and today, to cool her off. Because I know we would be okay. It wouldn't be good, but we would be okay. But I was worried about her. Well, and I should say, heating is considered essential. AC is not, so they have 10 business days to have somebody come out here and look at it. Well, they're going to come out and look at it Wednesday of this coming week, and we weren't really sure. This was just going to be like, oh, it's just going to be miserable for over a week. And Friday I came home from work and Justin surprised me. He had purchased like a small portable AC unit. He was like, this is dumb. How are we supposed to like be okay in 90-degree weather for over a week and still manage to go to work just fine and everything? I'm like, well, we would do it, but he's like, well, we could do this instead. So he bought a little portable AC unit, the kind that just that doesn't get mounted into a window, but it just has the vent hose that vents out of a window, so we could use that in our apartment. And the nice thing is we can move it from like the living room to the bedroom as we need to, because it's not something that we have to completely install. It was a little bit of an investment, and I was a little annoyed at first, but as the weekend goes on, I'm not as annoyed. And he's right. We won't be living in this apartment forever, so there is a good chance we'll need it again. So as long as we just take care of it and make sure it's maintained, we'll be good to go. So there is that. So we are not completely melting. Midnight is the happiest of cats. I am the happiest of humans because I can sit and knit, because neither of these things would have happened if we didn't have AC, because I had to put a screeching halt on fiber crafts. Oh, I actually do have one work in progress. I lied. I started a dishcloth. I finished one that was mostly done, and I started a dishcloth because this was my attempt at like trying to stay cool and like still knit. But I could only do this knit like in late evenings when it was finally starting to cool down to the 70s. So I'm not complaining. It's been nice. We've been comfortable, and it's allowed me to continue to do certain things. Like I still had to do laundry this weekend, and we have a small portable washer, and with no AC, that would have been horrendous. And I would still have had to do it. And the other option is go to a laundromat, but I don't have enough quarters to do that because I wasn't planning on it. So, you know, life things. But yeah, so that little portable AC unit has been a godsend, and we are living somewhat cool. I mean, it's worlds better than being in a 100-degree apartment because we can't get it to cool down. So, not complaining there. Other than that, I did mention we were really enjoying our patio as of late. We have all the plants out there. We have some string lights out there, and our chairs and a table. And recently, if it's a little cooler, Midnight is allowed out on the patio if she has a harness on, so she's easier to like wrangle. And we keep an eye on her because she's not allowed to jump or anything. So I actually put out her cat bed that I crocheted, and she loved it. So we would just sit out there, and Justin would read and I would knit, and Midnight would just lay in her cat bed and watch the world. So that was really nice before it got really hot, and we're not going outside out there right now. But other than that, what else? I'm redoing our pantry. I wasn't going to do that, but then I got some can organizers that you can purchase that are for soda cans and also for canned goods, and I'm going to try those, so we'll see how that works. They're technically for like to put in a fridge, those clear can organizers that you can put like 9 like soda cans in, but you can also use it for canned goods. So we'll see how that works. So currently the pantry area, we don't actually have a pantry. We have like a coat closet, but it's like a full size like bedroom closet with sliding doors, which is actually really nice because then we can have like half of it be coat closet, and then the other half we have like a small plastic shelving unit pushed in there. That's our pantry, and I am currently going through that. That is all over the dining room table right now. So when I finish podcasting, I'll be going back to that to finish that up. But that's been kind of nice to just go through everything, and thanks to that little AC unit, I can do that. So trying to think what else I've got going on. Not so much. We're working, we're coming home, we're sitting in AC and trying to just relax. It's summer, so hopefully we'll be able to go outside a little bit, but if it's in the 90s all the time, that's not going to happen. So, yeah, I think I'm losing track of what I was going to say. Yeah, I can't really think of anything. So I think I'll just let you guys go. Lots of finished objects today. Hope you enjoyed them. I'm super excited. I mean, this is done minus I have to clip the ends. But with that, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to the channel if you want more videos, share it with your friends so we can join this little community on the interwebs. You can find me again, I'm most active on Instagram as Tori Schaffner. You can find me on Ravelry as lilwestie, and the show notes are on the blog at bully.mastadon.wordpress.com. I am on Facebook as well if you want to check me out there, but I'm just not as active. With that, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and I will see you in my next episode. Bye!